Okay, quick video showing the difference between stock Equinox and the lifted version, which mine's a big red pain in the butt. We call her Big Red. She's always got a lot of issues, specifically because of the Ecotech, so I fight with it a lot. But anyway, right now I'm not running my mud tires on here. I run Cooper Discovery MTs. They're super loud, noisy, and they're 32s. These are super smooth Michelins that are on here right now. So when you go on a long trip, you don't have to get beat up at 60 miles per hour and 80 miles per hour. People were asking what I did for the motor mounts. They're simply spaced up. Same thing back in this lower corner back down here. I spaced the transmission up also. And obviously if anybody has an Ecotech and doesn't have a catch can on there, you might want to consider putting that on there. Even with the 3.6. This is the 2013 301 horse version. Also uses E85, and it's got a different E85 map in it. It's nice and fast. Really, that's really the motor that should be in Big Red here. But anyway, to give you some numbers of the differences of how you measure. You want to measure from the center of your hub up to here. It's really not best to measure to the bottom to there, because that is not really taken into account that you may be running, you know, a tire size like this one. This is a 235/75. Normally I run the 265s mud terrains on here. But anyway, just to give you some numbers on them, I got my numbers right here. So from the running the 225/65/17 on this guy here, I've got 19 inches from the center of the hub to the bottom of the lip of the fender. On this guy with these tires, the 235s, it's 22 inches. Total overall for this one here is 32 3/8 with a 225 tire. With a 235 tire, it's 36.5 on here. It goes to 37 with the other tires on there. It's 19.5 in the rear from the center of the hub to the frame. And then on Big Red, it's 22 inches from the center of the hub to the top of the lip. And that doesn't take into account the rubber lips that I've got on here. These are really nice, still hanging in there. But anyway, underneath, you've got about 8 inches of front clearance down below, underneath here, and on 8 inches in the rear. And then on red over here, you got 10.5 and 9.5. A couple of things I wanted to go over real quick. A lot of people don't understand how much it takes to do a body lift on something that has subframes. They think it's pretty easy. Well, it changes a lot of stuff. And in my case, I had issues with my steering. So the steering column had to come out. I had to re-drill the holes and move the steering column closer inside of there so it would take less angle. So basically I pulled my steering wheel in and I shimmed down the back. So instead of binding up the knuckle that goes down to the steering rack, it actually got better. But the first thing I noticed is my steering was hard and it wasn't returning to center. And if you've ever pulled a rack on these things, you'll know it's terrible. This front tire has to come out. Everything comes out this way. It's locked in place behind a transmission mount back there, and it is a pain in the butt to get to. So, but anyway, so yes, if you have a body lift, you're going to go through a lot. Number one, the motor mounts, the transmission mounts, the drive shaft coming from the back for all-wheel drive is going to be shimmed down. And then body bushings, as everybody knows, they make noise. So the right answer is do a suspension lift. Do a 3-inch puck in the front, and do the springs in the back with the rough country spring in the back, or excuse me, rough country shock in the back. I'm actually going to offer a kit on the site for stage 1. I'm not really going to offer the body bushing kit because guys are going to have to dig into that on their own to do. I'll help them with that, but I get so many emails and everything now from the two of these that it's time for me to pretty much probably release something. And I'm just going to work with Truxada. I'm becoming a dealer for them. So we'll offer their kit, and then we'll change it from a 1.75 strut spacer in the front to a 3-inch. And then I'll offer the spring in the back. And then I've got a rough country shock that I'll put in the kit also. That's really the only things that need to be done for you to run a nice 30-inch tire with plenty of clearance for off-road, if that's what you're doing. Obviously, Mom with her setup here, she don't want me touching it. So the only thing I did do is it does have a oil catch can on it, which anything with GDI injectors that doesn't clean the back of the intake valve, you should have a catch can on it because they're going to blow by oil. And obviously with this thing, the catch can you need on this is really a 55-gallon drum. As you can see, I've done a lot of work, new intakes, top end, everything for it. And it's just a pain in the butt. Right now, the injectors they sent me for replacement are not true 280 cc's. And my fuel terms are all going positive after putting them in. And I don't want to put the old injectors back in. So I ordered a set of 320 cc injectors off of the 300 horse Camaros, and they're going to get switched out in here, and that'll bring my fuel terms back down to -10 or so, where I need them to stay. And everything's been replaced on there. If you got a vacuum leak, forget it. Your fuel terms are going to spike positive 33. If you've got a gas cap leak, it's going to do the same thing. If you've got a valve cover leak, it's going to do the same thing. So, but anyway, so there's a quick video on the difference between the two and the height. Obviously, you can see the difference. If I went out from the back side, you'd see how much more difference there would be in the back down here. So, but you can tell that the red Equinox here has plenty of room for off-road, and we do play off-road a lot. So, and these, like I said, these aren't my normal tires. Normally I run the really noisy mud tires on them, and I'm getting ready to switch them back on now that the snow's coming in. So, but anyway, there you go. Differences in heights between the two, and what it'll possibly end up with if you start messing with the lift for the suspension and the body lift. But like I said, go for the suspension lift first. And then later on, if you want more, start monkeying around with the body lift kit. And that's pretty much all I got. Hope that gives you guys some direction on that. Take care.